Welcome back. The Federal Ministry of Education has released the list of its new governing council for 111 tertiary institutions in the country, comprising 5 names each for 50 universities, 37 polytechnics, and 24 colleges of education. This follows a 2-week ultimatum given the Nigerian government by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, to address its key concerns, including what it described as the illegal dissolution of governing councils of the universities, continued payment of its members' salaries using the integrated payroll and personnel information system, among other issues.
Well, in response to the new list of governing councils, ASUU President Emmanuel Osodeke has said the federal government was expected to reinstate the illegally dissolved governing councils and not to constitute new ones. Osodeke also stated that the demand from the union was not only about the dissolved governing councils of tertiary institutions, adding that the federal government should implement other requests of ASUU. Well, joining us this morning is the President of Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And it's good to start this conversation, especially looking at the reason why ASUU is agitated and not happy. There should have been a reinstatement rather than an overhaul and bringing in of new persons. Can you go ahead and expatiate more on this?
Thank you very much. Good morning. Well, our own stand is that the governing council is made up of 2 components. The federal government nominee, which normally are 5, a representative of the Minister of Education, make it 6, 4 persons elected, elected for a 4-year term by the University Governing Council, University Senate, 1 person elected from the congregation of the university, 2 persons from congregation of the university, 1 person from convocation of the university, the vice chancellor, the 2 or 3 deputy vice chancellors make up the composition of the governing council. Therefore, all the councils are nominated and appointed by law, and that law stipulates 4 years. And if you want to remove the vice chancellor, the council, they must have committed an infraction or corruption. On that basis, you can remove them, not just by political means. So therefore, during the era of Buhari, President Muhammad Buhari, and they did the same thing, we raised this issue with them. And they looked at it and found we were correct. But you cannot just dissolve a governing council anyhow because of political reason. And that council was reinstated. Then when this government also came in and did exactly the same that their predecessor did from the same party. And we also raised this issue instead of doing exactly because if those councils were found to have committed corruption, it should have been tried, not just dissolved. But they just dissolved them politically. So that is why we are saying that, look, let's, as a country, a democratic country, we should obey the laws of the country. And that law states very clearly how council should be appointed and council should be dissolved. But when you do it the other way around, the law permits that you should just do what is correct by reinstating them. They have just about 1 year to go. When they finish, you appoint your own people as if that's what they are doing, as a member of the governing council. That's what the law says, and you can look at it, the Miscellaneous Act.
So do you think that this will be corrected, the move that has been made so far? Do you expect that the government will correct this by reinstating them? And if that isn't done, what next?
Well, we do hope that they can do that. But if they don't, we'll have the union. The union will meet, all the organs will meet, and look at whether we should accept or what we should do. That is the procedure. But we are giving them timeline to do what is correct.
Now, we know that the dissolution of the governing council is not the only issue and the only agitation that the Academic Staff Union of Universities has against the federal government. So we'd like you to share with us. We know that the IPPIS was in conversation. The non-payment of salaries for the duration of the strike was also in conversation. So I want you to further expatiate on some of the concerns that ASUU has.
Well, so the issues we have that is when we are going on strike in 2022. Number 1, a renegotiation of the agreement that was signed in 2009. In that agreement, it was dictated that every 3 years it will be renegotiated based on the current situations. Now, 2009 and today is 15 years, and it has not been renegotiated, which means the salary negotiated by our member in 2009 is what they are seeing earning today. But when you look at the economic situation from 2009 and today, you know the marked difference, and that is the major thing. With the last administration, when they came in, we also raised this issue with them. And they set up a panel to negotiate with them in 2017. They agreed there was an issue that would be negotiated in 2017, led by Babalaki. It failed. Then another one led by Musa Jibi came in. We reached an agreement. Government didn't come back to us to sign. Then finally we reached with an agreement with Musa Jibri, a led committee. Until today, that had not been signed. So that's how many years now? 2017 and today, it's a whole 7 years that we have been negotiating. And there is no signed agreement. And we thought that this government, when they came in, that's why we gave them this 11 months to sit down and see how they can set up a group, meet with us, look at that agreement. And if there are issues we need to adjust, we adjust. And then they sign, then we move on. So that we can keep our lecturers in Nigeria. Today, they are living in droves. They are living in droves while we are busy establishing universities all over the place. I don't know who is lecturing in them, but go and check. You can see the quality of lecturers lecturing in those universities. So that is number one. Number two is the issue of this governing council, and that also number two. Number three, issue of earn academic allowance for our members. In 2020, we agreed with the government that they will mainstream the earn academic allowance into our salary. In 2022, that money was released. But since then and now, they have not paid that. And it was the last year's budget. The issue of revitalization of the revitalization fund, which was also in last budget, which they also refused to implement. And you are not talking, the issue that now arose from that action, which is IPPIS. You are aware the federal government, the Federal Executive Council, directed that the universities and all tertiary should be withdrawn from IPPIS. That directive has still not been implemented till today. What they have done is that they have changed the name from IPPIS to new IPPIS, which...
Professor, you there? All right. Well, I think the professor is indeed going ahead to highlight some of these challenges, and all of it's quite sad that some of these things, or I'll put it that way, some of these objectives were indeed dealt with, especially before President Muhammadu Buhari left office. Some of them were looked into. And like he said, with the new President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on seat, it was expected that after 11 months have gone by, he's going to take time to review this and ensure that there was an implementation. But Professor, if you're there, you can go ahead with some of the other agitations from ASUU as well.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can.
Please.
Absolutely.
Good. So we said the IPPIS, we were withdrawn from it with effect from December 2023. But today, that has not also been implemented. We are still being paid with what now refers to as new IPPIS. I don't know the new origin of that. And in doing that, they are dealing with our members. The 4 months backlog that was paid, the cooperative deduction mounted to almost billions of naira for all our branches has still not been released by the Office of the Accountant General. Till now, all the deductions that people, that's why most of our members depend on in time of crisis. They go to the cooperative, take loan to take care of their heads or whatever. That money still have not been released for the 4 months by the Office of the Accountant General. We will have people who have been promoted, their arrears have not been paid till now, over 4-5 years since that people were introduced. You have people salary were cut. Last year, a colleague in Jos, was paid 5,000 naira. A professor paid 5,000 naira. How they arrive at that, we don't know. And there's no way you can resolve them. But today, that IPPIS has not been, they have not exited us from that IPPIS. These are some of these issues that have been outstanding that we want this government to resolve within this short period, and then we can move on as a country without, when the president came and said, we want a state, a university where there will not be shut down, no strike, nothing, which we agree fully because we are the one who suffer when there's strike. But they are not doing anything. The 3.5 months outstanding, they still have not paid. And we believe that still will have done the work.
Professor Osodeke, I mean, it's quite sad and unfortunate that you're coming back to this same scenario all over again. It seems like it's a rigmarole. We're just going back in circles, year in, year out, still complaining of the same thing, but yet no resolve. How does this make ASUU feel, and how does this make you feel, knowing that the salaries of the judiciary have been reviewed, and then there's been a kick into the system with the student loan, and yet the professors have not been taken care of? I'd like your view on that. And then also, I'd like your view separately on the student's loan. Do you think it's something that will work, looking at the current situation in which you're faced with?
Well, the truth is that the reason they are treating Nigerian universities and indeed Nigerian education this way is because you now have two sets of Nigeria. Those who are running our economy, running the everywhere, but whose family, their children are schooling abroad, not in Nigeria. If there is no minister here, you say that child is in Nigeria. No governor is child in Nigeria. The president children are not in Nigeria, and so forth and so on. So for them, whether Nigerian university collapse or not, it's not their business. As far as their children are having good education. If their children were in Nigerian university, they will not treat Nigerian university this way. So that's the problem we're having. And that's what we proposed some time ago, that there is a need to make a law, National Assembly, to make a law that for you to hold a government office, you must bring all your children back to Nigerian schools, from primary, secondary, and universities. You must bring them back. Because that's the problem we're having. You get our resources, you send to the foreign country, and then you destroy your universities. As we speak, our colleagues are living in droves. And they are not bothered because whether it concerns them, what it concerns them. When they are sick, they run abroad. The doctors are leaving. It's not their business. They pay you whatever life you like, leave. I saw a minister saying, well after whether they leave or not, we bring more doctors. A seasoned doctor will leave the country. You bring an internship to come and replace him. That our problem is because they are not part of this system. It does not affect them. If it affects them, they will ensure that the system works. So we should ensure that there is a law, and Nigeria should push that for you to hold a government office, your children must be in Nigerian universities, Nigerian primary school, Nigerian secondary school. That's our problem. Because I don't see why you allow a professor in Nigeria to earn less than $300 a month, equivalent. It's equivalent. The same man can go to UK, can go to South Africa, and what have you, and earn $5,000, $10,000 a month. So that's our problem. And you see a lecturer who is at the lower level, who want to fight for his master's degree, fight for promotion, his salary is less than $80 a month. How will they survive? So that is where we are. You could have negotiated for 7 months without reaching an agreement. And you now blame the union for going on strike. If you cannot reach an agreement in 7 months, what should the union do? They should allow me to die or allow the university to die. So what we are struggling for is for the heart, the soul of this country. And that's what this group do not want, because they can afford to do anything outside the country. That's on the student loan. Our view is very clear. If we have done it 2 or 3 times in the past, when there was some degree of decorum in the system and it didn't work, is it now that it's going to work? What we see happen is that the money will still go to the children of the rich and the big men. You can watch. As a union, we look at background before we take decision. 3 times now they have to do a student loan. None worked. And we see the miracle of this one. And you can imagine, when did they say it will start? More than a year, almost 7-8 months now. Has it started? What happened to the law that we talked about was so incorrect? What did they do? After about 5-6 months, they found we were correct. They had to go and rejig the law. Why didn't you listen to us at the beginning? That is the question. So what were the academics who should be the soul of this country are speaking? They don't listen until they run into a problem and run back. We said that something was wrong. There are issues. I think you are still not corrected. Changing the law, you didn't consult with the stakeholders. It took 2 days and you changed the law. And you have brought it back. You see how it's going to work.
All right.
What is going to change?
What we're just going to have to do now is wait to see what exactly happens, if the former members of the Governing Council will be reinstated, and what the next move will be for ASUU in that regard, if it's not yet done. But we thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to having you again.
Thank you.